Hi there, everybody. Welcome to our presentation. This is all about the anti-diet method. If you know me or you've been following me at all, you know that I talk a lot about dieting, but I also talk a lot about body positivity. I talk about really listening to the body and the cues and understanding a lot more about what is going on inside, understanding the blockages, perhaps, understanding why you can't get to where you want to go. It often has so much more to do than about just meal plans and having willpower to, struggle through not having a piece of cake at somebody's birthday party or that glass of wine or enjoying foods. Any kind of foods for that matter. It's so much more than that. And that's what I really wanted to focus in on, understanding that little bit deeper side of you with regards to your relationship with food, and not just whether you're eating the right amount of carbs or have a right amount of steps in during the day, or whether you actually are, balancing your macronutrients from a perspective of carbs and fats and proteins, and making sure that you're getting the right percentage of each on a daily basis. This is a bit of a controversial kind of approach to healthy and weight loss, as well as lifelong and sustainable weight loss. But it is something that I believe is necessary to understand and really be able to provide you guys with regards to, just having some really deep love and satisfaction for your body where it is right now. And I really wanted to bring in this concept of the anti-diet method. So without further ado, I'm going to get rid of my face here so you don't have to look at it throughout the whole presentation. And here we are looking at the anti-diet method. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful topic, something that I'm hoping will be a little bit of a review, but also another look at understanding you and your relationship with food a little bit deeper. It is a wondrous thing. And, so many of my clients happen to be dissatisfied and or not motivated, and that opportunity for you at any point to be able to get that extra little motivation, that extra little bit of information, that extra little bit of just being able to move forward is giving you this is what this is all about. Because I'm like I said, I'm hoping that this information is not new, but it will give you another opportunity to keep you motivated, keep you focused, keep you in line with your goals, and understand that it's a process and it's not um, um, something that should be obsessed about, but something that should be part of your everyday routine of who you are and how you live your life on the regular. So for those of you that don't know, I'm Wendy. I am a holistic nutritional consultant. I'm a holistic cancer practitioner. I am a live blood analysis. And for my clients, I provide that deep understanding of how their body is working, and really offering that opportunity for a deeper connection through the ability to see literally your cells through a live blood analysis and a dry blood analysis, and to have that opportunity to start understanding the ability to really control what goes on in your life. We have a tendency to really push away the responsibility of our health. And I want to be able to, bring that understanding back to you, to understand that it is up to you. I am nothing more than a guide. I'm a guide that has a ton of information and a ton of love and compassion for you, but I am only a guide, and I can only provide you the information. I can give you the meal plans. I can give you strategies, tips, and tricks and everything all day long. But it's until you really begin to work on that relationship that you have with your body, I mean, and subsequently the relationship you have with food, because food is something that we cannot avoid. Um, and it is part of parcel of who and what we are as people and human beings. When you start to be able to incorporate that at a more holistic level, then it is part and parcel of that healing process. So I'm hoping that this can give you another update or another perspective or another viewpoint about what is going on, and how to really uh, work with that relationship with your body and with food as a result. So dieting can feel like an inevitable benchmark for so many people. It's often associated with health, even though diets often do more harm than they do good for our general well-being. Look at your mental health. That alone will tell you. I'm not even talking about the physical health at this point, but dieting from a mental health perspective is obsessive, it is degrading, it is self-deprecating, and that's not even just the physical. That's not even the physical end of things. That's just the mental things. They tend to be trendy and easy to dive into, but more challenging to move away from. Um, and we get on that roller coaster of the next big thing is coming up, and the next big um, opportunity is going to do it for me. The next keto version is going to be the one that's going to do it for me. So I just have to find that strength. I just have to find the willpower. I just have to find the time to make the food. I just have to, you start making excuses. You start obsessing with it. You start counting calories. How many people have an Apple Watch that count? How many people use I even use it, to be honest. Fitness Pal app to be able to count steps. And how many people do you know are obsessive about, oh, I can't stop now, I've got to get in those extra 15,000 steps today, or they're dancing around the kitchen trying to get in that extra 500 steps because they're lacking for their count for the day. It's a nasty perspective to be able to be diving into that all the time. And you get away from working towards your goals and potentially your dreams at that point, but you get away from actually living life as well too. So there's that fine balance. And then, like I said, that's not even, tipping your toes into the physical ramifications of what a consistent dieting can do to the body. Diets are not the answer when it comes to health, happiness, and the best way to keep your body in tip-top shape. Instead of choosing diets, there's a different method, and that doesn't really push and prod you into the one-size-fits-all, the anti-diet method. And this is what we're going to be jumping into. But before jumping into this one method to get healthy and better and feel better, there's lots that you have to think about. There's lots that you have to do a little bit of soul searching about. There's a lot that we have to talk about. And when it comes to the anti-diet method, it is a new way of thinking for some. It is an alternative. It is what do they call it? Adjunct to what you're already doing. So if you have a diet plan that's working for you, incorporating some of the aspects with regards to this program as well too, or this way of thinking, can really bring about more of a sustainability, because you're giving yourself the opportunity to get off the hook a little bit, not be 100% obsessive, being able to perhaps see a little bit of a different view when you look in the mirror, when you look down at the scale numbers, and all of this. I get to be off topic a little bit, but So I'll try to keep this as short as possible for you, but I really am very, very passionate about this, and I'm hoping that this can really bring about a different viewpoint. So through thorough research and information, separate a new plan for life from fad diets. So let's dig in a little bit here. So why dieting has actually failed us? Well, dieting is about restriction and deprivation and squeezing everyone into the same type of plan without considering each person's unique body type and dietary needs. I hope this is not news to you. If you guys have been following me for any length of time, again, this is just a review. This restriction leaves the body craving sustenance. And as a result, many people find themselves binge eating to make up the difference. And this is where that closeting of closet eating comes in, because we feel shame. We feel that, oh my God, I can't do it. Why can't I do it? Oh, and then you find yourself hiding behind the cupboards and, putting food into your face or waiting for people to leave the room and, plowing it in or going to another room or whatever, going out for a drive and stopping in at a drive-through and hiding the evidence before getting home. These are things that should be ding, ding, ding kind of indicators towards a disordered type of eating, and something that we really have to start paying attention to. These fad diets are more than aesthetics than actual nourishment. So understanding that, the reasoning why. So what is your why again? Is it the fact that you have a wedding coming up on the 27th of this next month and you are just desperate to look amazing because, those photographs are going to be happening, and we always want to be looking good. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with looking good. There's nothing wrong with, having a goal and setting it. But understanding that deeper connection about, oh, well, I have to restrict, I have to deprive myself. I have to look like the person that's going to be at the wedding that I haven't seen in 4 years or whatever. And, that reasoning behind it. Or is it that just you want to be on your best health to be able to attend a wedding of your granddaughter, or you want to be, it's that reason behind things that we really want to dive into a little bit deeper. By depriving the body of a select type of food group or specific food, you can quickly get overwhelmed and overeat or binge on that food of choice. How many times have people told you that keto is the way to go, when you are an amazing cook and you just love bread? And you just, your stomach actually gets a little nauseated at the thought that you have to give up bread, because bread is that one major carb that is a big no-no. But you think, well, it worked for them, it's got to work for me, so I have to try it. This leads to eating disorders, low self-esteem, and a sense of failure that looms over every area of your life. And I don't want that. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for my clients. I don't want that anywhere. And it's not a healthy way of living from that holistic perspective of mind, body, soul. It's easy to sign onto a diet. There's thousands upon thousands of them out there that are free on the internet, but the diet mentality, the diet business world is $1 billion business. And why? Because it feeds into that insecurities that we have. It feeds into the fact that you are not like that Instagram person or that Facebook person, or, going back to the day of commercials on TV and magazines. And, it really feeds into that. It feeds into your core feelings. Advertisers are good. Advertisers know exactly what they're doing. And this is something that you really have to, keep into consideration when you're looking for a new way of adapting some healthy routines into your life. Some of these, even these plans, some of them even come to you in the mail. But they're more like a bad addiction than a real solution. It's one addiction for another. So if you actually have some disordered eating, some addictive behaviors when it comes to food, understanding that going towards dieting, that's an addictive behavior as well too. Shaking off these diets is difficult, and sticking to them is less than beneficial. At the core of the restrictive type diets, putting your body actually puts your body in that they can't keep nourishment on your physical self in mind. Choosing to eat no carbs or switching to a protein only diet sounds appealing because we've seen all the pictures. We've seen the before and after pictures. I hate those. You don't even know some of them are real people, let alone whether they are doctored. I mean, anybody can filter a camera nowadays. Choosing to eat no carbs and switching to a protein only diet sounds appealing after all. It's easy to see and draw the line, but nobody is designed only to eat one particular food group. This is the physical miracle that we have been given, and it's designed to specifically eat specific foods. This is the way it is. To nourish the body healthy and balanced, you must stay on track. And you have to be very, very strict with it. If you go towards a very restrictive type diet, I always go back to that example of keto. You have to stay with it, and you have to be very, very vigilant about the types of foods that you're eating to make sure that you get the nourishment that your body craves and desires and needs to survive and thrive. You have to be very, very strict about it. And if you are, then great. Great. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be watching me right now, because more times than not, it is not sustainable, and it is not something that is just like a one-off kind of situation. I know that there's amazing restorative kind of programs out there that tell you, oh, you only have to go on for 30 days. And you get amazing results and you feel great, and all the benefits that you can understand, but only for 30 days. And then you jump off of that, and then you have to go on it again. And then you jump off of it and you have to go on it again. And this is where they catch you. This is where they're just like, oh, but I felt so amazing when I was on that program. And, this person is just the best ever. And, but 4 months later, I'm feeling like crap again. And, that kind of yo-yo is almost worse than the dieting yo-yo. And because you give that body that opportunity to really get to a spot that feels great, works great, or so you think. But then you come off of it, and then you tax the liver again, and you tax all the organs, and your fat cells are going, whoa, okay, she's off the diet, let's go back on it again, like let's fill up again. And you end up gaining more weight. And I'm not even getting into the hormonal situation that happens with stuff like that as well too, because the hormones, they after a while, they're just like, well, we're going to keep that extra bit of weight on because she's going to go on that diet again, and she's going to force us to lose the weight, and so we're going to keep that extra fat on at a deeper level. And so there's a lot of different advantages and disadvantages to these 30-day plans, these 90-day plans. And when we get around to looking at them, for the most part, there's more cons than there is benefit, especially for the long term. And this is where my mindset is the long term. It is, I am looking to be here when I'm 100. So the little baby steps that I do on a daily basis today is going to get me there. And when I'm 100, I'm still going to have my faculties. I'm still going to be able to walk on my own. I'm still be able to maybe even drive on my own. I'm going to be able to live in my own home. My quality of life is going to be no different than it is at this point. So this is where my head is always at, is that I want the same for you. I want you to have that quality of life for the long haul, not just for the 30 days. Now, that being said, there is always that therapeutic type of way of eating to get you to a balance. And sometimes that balance, goes down and up and down and up a little bit, and we have to do maintenance. That's not the same as what I'm talking about with these 30-day programs that stop and start, stop and start, stop and start, and then people feel like crap because they go too far down. The therapeutic diet should be able to get you to a holistic balance that, yes, you may have to do a seasonal upgrade or maintenance, but it doesn't bring you back to that feeling of, uh, where you began feeling really, really bad. So again, I've gotten way off topic. So how does dieting actually affected our culture? So in other cultures and throughout the past centuries, the standard of health and beauty was much different than it is today. Anybody that's in the same age group as myself, going into our 50s, we know that. We know the history. Today, culture sees health and beauty as thin with slight muscle tone or fat anywhere on the body. To achieve that look, many have turned to extreme diets. And I was actually just watching a video last night. It's not even just extreme diets, it's extreme plastic surgeries where women are having, I can't remember what exactly the surgery is called, but they remove fat from their abdomen and their trunk, and they have it injected back into their buttocks. Now, I'm of a certain generation. Perhaps I just showing my age, I don't know, but this fad of large, round buttocks, I don't know. I don't get it, to be honest. I've always had a round, but maybe that's my own little self insecurities. That's my own little not liking it kind of situation. But I don't see the appeal. Again, that's my own personal opinion. I believe a nice hourglass figure on a woman of any size and shape is, attractive. And again, it comes from inside. Their beauty, their smile, the way that they present themselves. This is the beauty of a woman that I believe is more attractive than specific body parts being larger than others. Again, but that's just a little insight about how I think. But it just boggles my mind to the extremes that women will go to dysmorph their bodies, from diet to exercise to plastic surgery. It's astounding. And for what? Really? Money? Love? Do we really feel better about ourselves? I don't know. Are we actually getting to feel better about ourselves? I don't know. I can't read everybody's psyche. I can only understand, and listen to my own clients. And from what I'm understanding, no. And this is why I'm bringing this opportunity for a different way of looking at things. And hopefully the message towards that internal work that we all have to do. It's not something that can be avoided for the most part. If people are happy and they are satisfied with their restrictive diets, with their plastic surgery, with everything that they've done to go to those extremes, and they're still happy and they're joyful and they love their bodies, then, beautiful. I mean, that's all I ask. Muscle, like fat, needs nourishment to grow. When diets starve the body and restrict food intake or groups, both strengthens and fat languish. Um, you may achieve the healthy look that is so many in society strive for, but the body won't be truly healthy. So understanding that too, that, healthy is a holistic thing, mind, body, and soul. Diet culture has also pushed many to extremes to achieve that look. Rather than sticking to a plan that restricts just one food group, many starve themselves or take fewer and fewer calories to lose weight again. So, yeah, just so again, this is not any news to you guys. Culture and society seems to give advantages to those who fit into this look effortlessly before and after. Like it just happened overnight. Anyone outside the mold is viewed as suspicious. Society feeds into a way people view diets, and dieting proves how our culture works. Young children, adults, and elderly people are all subtly told to do whatever it takes to fit into a size 0 mold. This leads to obsessive behavior that do more harm than good for everyone involved. Yeah, that kind of just reiterates kind of what I was talking about. Failing to meet the standard diet failing to meet the standard isn't easily brushed away. Missing the mark can send individuals of all ages into a spiral that has them blaming themselves. And this is where that self-deprecation comes in. This blame and seeing any mistake as a failure leads to a severe dip in self-worth and self-esteem, causing anxiety, stress, and depression. Again, not news. This is not I've had actual clients and people come up to me and say, "You're a nutritionist?" And I've actually had it in my own head from time to time. I'm not a 0. I'm not even a size 8. It is obvious, you can see me, that, you know, as a nutritionist, people have this preconceived idea that I should look a certain way. There are many, many nutritionists out there that do look a certain way, and that's perfectly fine. But there's also many, many nutritionists out there that have a certain look, not unlike my own. So this is something again that I struggle with. This is something that is a preconceived notion out there of what a healthy person looks like. So again, just taking that information into your brain and thinking about it a little bit more, and just letting it settle and seeing where your ideas of an ideal body should look like, your ideas of how society has shifted over the years, perhaps, to see what is and what is the current look that is supposed to be out there, and understanding that it's not all that it is. Even these pictures that I have on these slides, um, they're a little bit young women. They're kind of a little bit smaller than perhaps a lot of my clients that are out there. And again, it's just a matter of understanding and, bringing about a different perspective, a different way of looking at things. So looking at how diets actually affect our self-love. Self-love and self-esteem are internal driving factors that focus on inner appreciation for ourselves. Internalizing big and small achievements, like encouragement for others, and seeing how you impact others all build your own self-love. Dieting draws hard lines about where you can and can't do in the sand. While these lines may seem cast in concrete, they're often easy to rearrange and change to suit your needs and whims. So smudging the line to allow a little snack outside the boundary doesn't seem like much at the time, but when compared to the internal level of self-love, it constitutes a complete failure. Failure in your personal life, like This gets internalized extremely fast because we see everything around us and we see other people's images and go, well, they don't fail. They're perfect. Why can't I be perfect? Why can't I? Why am I different? I don't want to be different. Why can't I do it? All the good things you've done pale compared to the loss in your diet. Self-love takes a nosedive in the face of that breakdown of rules within the diet. Before long, a dip in self-love becomes the standard, and you'll struggle with anxiety and depression. It's a slippery slope. Body confidence is all about being confident in your skin. Dieting changes your entire focus. Rather than being comfortable with the way you look and feel in the moment, it focuses more on comparisons than confidence. You're always seeing that you are less than, that you lack that you always, I have 5 more pounds to go. Oh my goodness, I gained 3 pounds. This is no good. I must look like a cow. These are makes me sad, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is that reel of negativity that we just fall into all the time. And this is something that hopefully we can get beyond. It's easy to see your unique body as full of flaws when you compare yourself to others with a different body type. One thing I stress to my clients is the fact that you are unique. You are not only bioidentically unique, chemically unique, but you are also emotionally unique. Your life experiences, your thought patterns, your sleep patterns, your bathroom patterns, everything about you is different from everybody else. So when you think that you have to fit into a mold, what is that mold? That is the mold of that average person that doesn't exist. That average person is not doing keto. It's just because you Googled it one day and that's all you see now is the before and after pictures. The success stories, the oh, I feel wonderful. You don't see the struggles. Every slight difference in your body seems to be, it can be seen as a flaw. It makes you self-conscious rather than confident. True body confidence comes from learning to love your body at the moment and continuing to show that confidence to the world, and the confidence that centers around their proper health rather than simple aesthetics. Let me read that again. True body confidence comes from learning to love your body at the moment, this moment. No, this moment, and continuing to show that confidence to the world, not putting on a brave face, not smiling just because, not being the clown and deflecting your own emotions. Be true to what you're feeling. You feel like shit, you feel like whatever, bring it up, let it out, realize it, and try to fix it. The confidence that centers around your proper health rather than simple aesthetics. This is a hard one, and it's a hard one for people to grasp. It's hard for people to wrap their heads around. I had a client come into my office last month whose numbers, blood sugar numbers, were showing that she was heading towards diabetes. And I said, does this scare you? Well, yeah, I'm starting to think, it really kind of put the notion into my head. I'm like, okay, so what have you done? What what are you changing in your diet? How are you preventing a diagnosis from coming? Well, I had to go on this trip, and then, I love my bread. Everybody loves bread, and I can't stop eating bread. And then of course there's, the sugar, but I only have a little bit of sugar. And I said, okay, but How is that really changing anything? How scared are you of getting a diagnosis? Well, I guess maybe not that scared because I know it's kind of coming anyways. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. Yeah, diagnosis of diabetes is prevalent. It happens all the time. Is that normal? No, it's common. What's really even more common is people expect that that's the way that their path is laid out for them, but it doesn't have to be. When we start to really bring about body acceptance, and understanding and learning about the body, we bring about that self-love. And when we have that self-love, that respect, that confidence to love the moment and the body that you're in right now, that brings about better decisions about what you actually bring to the body. When we see the body as a temple, when we really love who we are, what we are, how big we are, how small we are, the different parts of the body, this allows for that deeper respect. We love our children if you have children. We love our spouse if you have a spouse. We love other people around us. We are caring, empathetic human beings. That's who we are. We are designed to love first. And yet we don't love ourselves enough to provide healthy foods. We spiral. If dieting is all about comparisons, the anti-diet plan is about body acceptance. Each body is unique and has needs that are different from someone sitting next to you. Comparing what you need with everyone else leads to many self-esteem issues. Stop the comparison. Stop the comparison. Accepting your body the way it is and tailoring a plan around your unique type is the core strategy for the anti-diet method. You may not be a size 0, but you can learn to accept the body, your body, the way it is, with all the differences that make you unique. This doesn't mean that you can simply accept the parts. This doesn't mean that you simply accept the parts of your body you wish to change. It's okay within this theory to realize to yourself and others that your body isn't perfect or without flaws. The overarching principle is that you are unique and accept your body at this moment. Self-esteem and love. When you're consistently comparing yourself to others, it may be easy to lose your confidence and self-esteem. Body image is an internal construct and guides much of what we do. I would say 99% of what we do. Dying out of pictures, choosing baggy clothes, and not joining in with activities are all ways that low self-esteem become an external symptom. It's the middle of summer. Have you gone swimming yet? Have you put your bathing suit on yet? Have you enjoyed the coolness of a lake water or the ocean? Are you enjoying the sun? Are you allowing your body to be open to the sun? What is stopping you? Building your self-esteem and self-love starts with accepting your body as a work in progress and still excellent and functional because it belongs to you. The judgment of a diet plan is taken away, and there are opportunities to do things that build up your self-esteem in a hurry. When you're feeling confident, you build that confidence by joining in and showing off your body in every activity. Every activity. Self-love centers on learning to love all the areas of your life that diet culture says aren't so good. Acceptance leads to self-love that grows into body positive focus for your whole life. So that's a lot of information. Hopefully, again, nothing new. We're getting the message out there. The message out there is one of that self-acceptance, that self-love, that being able to be in the moment and be okay with where you're at and accept it. So how this anti-diet method actually begins. If you're ready to ditch the diet and start with a plan that keeps you, your health, and your body image in the forefront, there's no time like the present. There's a few things to keep in mind when you join in with the anti-diet method, and you should continue to consider them throughout the implication of the plan. So ditching the diet and opting for a method that puts more power in your hands rather than focusing on the strict rules governing a diet, the anti-diet method is about procedures and processes rather than a line that you can't cross. So not about restriction. Methods and procedures can be adapted to every situation and every person. Doesn't matter where you are on the scope of weight. It could be far underweight. You could be dieting, have been dieting for the last 40 years. You could be never have dieted and be overweight. You could be somewhere in the middle. There's a lot of people out there that are considered normal that can definitely learn to love their bodies as well. Methods and procedures can be adapted to every situation and every person. There is no more one-size-fits-all approach to the way you see your body and rules and keep you from enjoying life and food. Not only just enjoying life, but in life and food. It's that relationship with food again. Why not enjoy food? It's there. It's there for our pleasure. We have taste buds for a reason. We have smell for a reason. We smell food, we see food, we taste food, we can feel food. This is all our senses are part of that experience. The anti-diet method lets you retain your individuality and find balance that suits your lifestyle. So number one, reframe your inner voice. Your inner voice dictates how you see the world and hear and criticizes criticisms and critiques. A negative inner voice will continue to tell you negative things and pull you down, pull your self-esteem down at every turn. This can be focused on your achievements, body, and how you interact with others. So there's a lot of talk out there these days about PTSD. So there's different degrees of PTSD as from what I'm understanding. No, it's not PTSD as in ambulance workers and frontline workers and our military personnel or people that have been accidents. But this is the slow, consistent, perhaps bullying, your own scrolling through Instagram and Facebook and comparing and looking for examples of what you believe is beautiful or right size or whatever. You can really implement a lot of traumatic experiences, traumatic effects in your body, in your psyche. As a result, you're imprinting and printing and impacting your neural network with these images. You were impacted and traumatized, emotionally traumatized by being bullied, perhaps, by those little whispers of the girl groups that were always saying that you weren't good enough, or there could be as many people as listening to this, there could be that many different scenarios where there was an instance that you were told that you weren't enough, that you were told that you were not loved. Somebody broke up with you. You know, you were rejected. You were picked last in for games at school. You were bullied on the bus. There's 1,000 different things that could have happened. And then once that imprint happens, it gets replayed in your own voice after a while, and it becomes part of who you are, and that becomes the way that you think first. And so reframing that inner voice, being aware of it, first of all, and then reframing that inner voice to something that is more positive, allowing to be release those old ways of thinking, allowing and bringing some understanding to your person, to your emotional self, about when those incidences happened in the past where it was very traumatic. Perhaps you had a grandmother that was always telling you that you had to be thin, because that was what her mentality was always telling her, or that was the way that she grew up. Or then, even the things that we say to other people as well too. Oh, that baby's a little bit too chubby. You better start, working on, cutting back on its milk or so. These little things that we say automatically, without even thinking about it. Stop and think about it. Stop and listen to the words that come out of your mouth as well as the words that are going on inside. As you get started with the anti-diet method, the key is to reframe that inner voice entirely. Start with a regime of positive affirmations. This is it sounds like I'm repeating myself over and over again, but these things work. They work, okay? These repeated affirmations teach your brain to think about your body and your emotions in the new light. Something as simple as putting a little Post-it note on your mirror first thing in the morning. I am beautiful. Good morning, gorgeous. Hope you have a wonderful day. Refrain it to whatever you specifically believe that you might be lacking, or you want to hear. You want to hear yourself say, hello, gorgeous. We don't have to wait for other people to say it to us. If we wait for that, we're going to be stuck in that loop over and over and over and over again for years. We don't want that, okay? Don't wait for other people to give it to you. Give it to yourself first. These repeated affirmations teach your brain to think about your body and emotions in the new light. They can be simple and easy to remember, but need to be repeated repeatedly. 90 days, put it on your mirror, 90 days. These simple positive affirmations change the way your inner voice plays out. It actually, I keep pointing back here, your lizard brain is back here. This is where a lot of our imprinting is done in our brain. This is where the neurons are firing. This is where you need to begin to change those pathways. And you can do it. It's called neuroplasticity. This is not something I'm making up. Go Google it. You can change your own trajectory. When things become a din in your head, full of negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions, affirmations bring you back to a more positive train of thought. Just do it. It's so simple. It doesn't cost a thing. These affirmations are centering action, full of words that boost your self-esteem. Reframing your inner voice takes dedication, like I said, consistency. Letting your mind lapse and fall back into the old habits and thoughts isn't a failure, just a chance to continue learning and growing. It's a process. It's a lifelong process. Dieting is about seeing lapses as a failure and creating an inner voice reinforcing that thought. Anti-diet method inner voices change the tune and move towards a more positive inner voice. Step 2. Crowding out bad foods. So dieting is a hard stop to specific foods. The line in the sand draws sides between good and evil, and any crossing into the bad category is a failure. Isn't that sad? Within the anti-diet method, the name of the game is crowding. Rather than trying to cut out bad foods cold turkey, each day is about crowding out the bad foods with good nutrition. Just making better choices for the most part. That 90-10 kind of concept, or even 80-20. You won't have to simply stop eating sweets, but gradually make individual choices that go above and beyond eating the sweets and the treats. It's not really about denying you anything. It's about making some choices for this temple that we're beginning to love. You can easily swap out sweets with fruits, switch out chips for veggies. You can start to notice the difference in what your body craves and how you view it. Eventually, you won't have cravings for the wrong foods. That's a guarantee. And the number of good foods that you eat will outnumber the bad ones that take up your time. By crowding out bad foods and replacing them with good nutrition, you still feed your body the way it needs to be fed, but get a chance to slowly back away from the type of foods that lower your self-esteem. The lines aren't written in ink either, so you can move slowly and make adjustments to suit your schedule and needs. Now, if there's a goal in mind, like we should always have some sort of goal in mind, you really want to, make it so it's sustainable. Um, Looking towards losing 40 pounds, but in a month to go to this wedding, it's not really realistic, first of all. It's going to be hard. And this kind of approach is not going to work for that. This is kind of like, someday I would really love to be here and be healthy for my granddaughter's wedding. Well, this is the time to start when your granddaughter's 10. So you really can start working towards that, and being the type of mama that you want to be. Step 3, listening to your body's hunger cues versus emotional cues. So have you ever heard of the phrase eating your feelings? I think most of us have. In the moment of high emotion, it can be all too easy to reach for some junk food as an easy outlet for your feelings than dealing with them entirely. It's hard to deal with our emotions. We deal with so much every day. We put so much onto our plate. We take on other people's emotions. We do it all. And then when it comes to our own health, our own mental health, our own physical health, we don't. We hide. We take the easy road out, and we find every excuse not to have to deal with it. But emotional eating quickly starts to focus on what you can eat to release stress rather than nourish your body. So we've all been there. Emotional eating is one of those most significant issues in the dieting culture. Having a cheat or splurge day is often associated with moments of high emotion and can set you back on your journey towards your healthy body and lifestyle. The anti-diet approach to eating and solution to emotional eating and emotional hunger is learning to listen to the body's hunger cues instead of emotions. So there's something called a hunger scale. And if you want some more information about that, please reach out, because I can give you a hunger scale and talk about more of that. Your body knows when it needs food and will talk to you. Do you really listen to your body? Or do you just ignore the cues? Because the body is always talking to you. They're called symptoms, first of all, from a very clinical kind of perspective. But there's also little cues of for emotions as well, too. Um, um, your body knows when it needs food. Your body knows when it's hungry. Your body knows when you've had too much food. Your body knows when to stop. It's just a matter of listening very, very carefully, and using that effective communication back and forth, and listening to what it needs and when it needs it. So learning to read the cues takes time and a lot of practice. It doesn't happen overnight again. When you find yourself craving salty foods, it might mean that you're dehydrated and it needs some water instead of food. Rather than waiting to take a lunch break when your stomach is growling so loudly, it can be heard next door. Take the time to eat a balanced meal. Grab an apple. That's one of the best ways to be able to get rid of that growly feeling. Instead of depriving yourself of a snack in the middle of the afternoon because it might not be in line with your diet. Following the correct cues means having something to satisfy your body. So step 4, emotional eating is often about reverting to highly processed foods as comfort for emotional distress. Highly processed foods are usually the most convenient ones. They're fast, easy to grab. Even dieting has concessions for processed foods that might even sell them as a solution for losing weight and getting healthy. In the anti diet approach to healthy living, the new focus is on eating and consuming whole foods, something I'm always, always, always promoting. Fruits and vegetables, skipping pasta, and choosing lean meats are the key to getting healthy and fueling your body in a way that makes sense and puts you first rather than the company. And when I say company, I'm meaning like the processed food companies. You might get a little creative when eating more whole foods and appeal to your sense of tastes. And just getting back to whole foods for a section. If I know there's going to be a lot of feedback with regards to, oh, the price of food these days, and I get it. Price of food is crazy, but there's ways of getting around it. And I have a feeling that I'm going to be sending some information about on the cheap these days, because it can be expensive. But if you were to calculate and have all of the numbers in front of you of all, what you're eating and what you're spending money on and everything else, I believe in the end, not only you are becoming rich because you're nourishing your body on a healthy level, but I believe from a whole foods standpoint, you can really save a lot of money as well too. Whole foods, like I said, give your body more fiber, nutrition, and minerals than processed foods. So right there, you're going to be better off. They also fill you up better than empty calories and junk food and processed foods. Many whole foods can also be quickly taken along as snacks and continue to feed your body throughout the day and stay filled up rather than always craving more. So again, talking about skipping the processed foods. Processed foods are full of empty calories and almost no nutritional value. When you're trying to ditch the diet lifestyle and start a new way of focusing your health, skipping the processed foods and replacing them with whole foods is a significant first step. The other thing is, do you have time? Do you like to cook? Do you know somebody that likes to cook in your house? Do you know how to cook? Like, these are all things and factors that play into that as well too. Yes, it's easier to go through the drive-through. Yes, it's easier to buy frozen pizzas and corn dogs and everything else that just throw in the air fryer. Yes, it's easier to even buy packaged cut up salads. But again, what is what is the long-term effects going to be? What, like, instantaneous gratification is where most of society is right now, and this is going to be our downfall, I believe. Gone are the days that we slow down, take the time to cut a vegetable, and with love, take the time to whip cream, real cream, put a little bit of beautiful honey in it from the farmer's market to sweeten it. Even just making homemade cookies. You can make healthy versions of homemade cookies as opposed to buying store-bought cookies. Our food, our bodies only want real things because we are real. Our bodies don't want preservatives and chemicals and fake foods, or what we call franken foods. Our bodies cannot understand what those are, even highly processed things like sugar. Now, sugar necessarily is not a bad thing. Sugar is needed. Glucose essentially is needed for brain health, if nothing else. It's needed for energy. But when it's highly processed and comes in that white form, it can be quite deadly. It's highly addictive. There's other forms. There's ways of getting around it. Be a little sneaky, be investigative, be your own body's health investigator and question things and investigate what is the alternative for that. So here's where you'll work on crowding out bad processed foods and replacing them with good whole foods. This can be a slow process and may take a while before you stop craving those bad processed foods. One of the hardest things to overcome is how processed foods can be nearly addictive. And I just mentioned that with sugar, the empty calories, but I mean, just the ease of things as well too. And they add a lot of stuff into processed foods, including sugar, while actually high fructose corn syrup, which is highly addictive. But they make it so, they're selling you product and they want you to take it. So this is where your consumer dollars can really make a difference with regards to your own health, the health of society, and and slowly change things. The empty calories and poor nutritional values in processed foods are replaced with whole foods that will fill you up and fuel your body. Processed foods might give you a boost in the start and the short time and in the short period, but leave you feeling hungrier and dealing with cravings in the long term. Not only that, but you probably feel a little icky emotionally and physically. Skipping them and replacing them with whole foods is a great way to continue getting the nutritional value without going cold turkey. This part of the process will take dedication, as it can be hard to even deal with replacing these lousy foods. It's a process. It's okay. You can go very slowly with it. You can, it's like people trying to skip from eating really heavy meat meals going towards more of a plant-based meal. Meatless Mondays, one day at a time, and that kind of gets people on the roll. So you can go towards just dedicating one day a week to really just having whole foods, and then maybe do some meal prep on the weekend so you have whole foods for your lunches all that week. There's lots of different options to be able to just make some small shifts so you don't have to go cold turkey and just make a big changes overnight and then end up failing because it's really hard, and then feeling lousy emotionally and feeling like a failure and your low self-esteem, and it spirals from there. Okay, your body will struggle and feel the need to binge. It will. There's a lot of reasons behind that, and from a cellular level I could get into that all day long, but that's not what this is about. But if you want to know some more information about that, get in connection with me. But by choosing whole foods instead, you fuel your body rather than starve it. Cutting back on sugar. Well, this is the one that, probably you guys knew was coming. Sugar is one of the most addictive substances in the world. And not only just sugar, but that high fructose corn syrup, which I believe is banned in a lot of places, but not everywhere. And sugar has found its way into nearly every type of food that we eat, often in excess. And this is where the processed foods come in, that they just put it in everything. Diet culture rarely mentions sugar as a food group or an ingredient to avoid, and focuses instead on large swaths and food groups. The anti-diet method focuses on cutting out and down on sugar. This means taking the time while grocery shopping and preparing meals to read recipes and ingredients lists to determine what should and shouldn't be cut. Sugar may fill you up and leave you feeling like you can tackle the world, but it's mainly empty calories. A little bit of sugar in your life isn't the end of the world, but too much is stored in your body, causing health problems by slowing down on sugar and replacing it with whole foods packed with great nutritional value. With the anti-diet method, the focus is on the process, not the results. Can we say that again? The anti-diet method is focusing on the process. So the little things that you do on a daily basis, not where the results are, not the number on the scale. If you're at a wedding and there's cake, the anti-diet mode allows you to join in on the fun and have a small piece without being overwhelmed with guilt. You can still live your life, but within the method and process that puts your body hunger cues and health first. Engage with body confidence affirmations. So again, going back to those affirmations, the way you think about your body is a huge part of your health. One we often overlook. Poor body image and body confidence can keep you locked up in the endless cycle of diets, binges, and more diets. The last step in the anti-diet method is all about engaging with true body confidence affirmations that put your mental and physical health in the same plane. Body confidence affirmations can be tailored to what you need to hear to boost the way you think about your physical presence. Instead of focusing on the way that it looks to others or comparing yourself to anyone else in the world, an affirmation strategy focuses not on what you look like, but on who you are at your core. There are some simple body confidence affirmations you can get started with. Phrases like, I love my body and I love myself. I am complete just the way I am. And I nourish my body and by feeding it well. Each of these focuses on different internal aspects of health giving. Health giving you a boost in confidence and rewriting your thought processes. That neuroplasticity. Total and complete rewrite of your brain through these affirmations may take quite some time, but with affirmations consistently running through your brain, through your mind, you can see not just the world, but your body in a whole new light. Affirmations take practice. Don't give up. If you don't feel your thought process changing in the first few moments of affirmation, repetition is key and setting up new thoughts in your mind permanently. And where we used to say 21 days to build a new habit, I'm saying 90. Give it 3 months. I mean, just stick it to your bathroom wall. How many times a day do you go to the bathroom? Look at your mirror, wash your hands, look up at the mirror. There it is right there. Several times a day. Easy peasy. So why choose the anti-diet method? Well, if I haven't given you enough reasons already, here we go. Dieting can seem easy for some people. I find it difficult. Many diet plans are spelled out in the minute detail, making them easy to follow in the short term. Again, those are those meal plans. But the hard lines they draw and the rules they set make it hard to stay on task and even harder to keep up a positive body image and body confidence if you happen to slip up. The anti-diet method focuses more on creating a healthy atmosphere and process that can bend and adjust to each person's specific needs. In addition to this mindset, the anti-diet methods focus on letting your body take the lead and learning to listen to what it needs. Letting the body take the lead and listen to what it needs. What it needs, not what you need, what it needs. Altogether, the anti-diet method focuses on you. Diets create harsh conditions that set you up to fail and put your self-esteem and confidence down with them. The anti-diet method is the best way to teach your body healthy strategies again after years and decades of focusing on simply weight loss. Diets also try to push everyone into the same mold for the way they look physically, instead of allowing people to love their bodies just the way they are. Diets teach and train everyone to compare themselves to someone in a size 0 and strive to create a body that fits that mold by any means necessary. Isn't that sad? This whole presentation is kind of sad. I'm sorry. So what are your next steps? Well, envision your body is a temple, and I've said that a few times, and it's the best to treat it with care. Like I said, we look after our children, love our parents, love our spouses, love our close people in our lives. We give them everything that we can. We wouldn't treat them and offer them anything less than. If you have a loved one that is sick, you're not going to give them ice cream. If you have a loved one that's, what do you give them? Chicken soup. What's in chicken soup? Especially homemade chicken soup. What's in chicken soup? Lots of water, beautiful water, broth water. It's got vegetables that are lovingly cut by you. It's got some beautiful protein, perhaps even a little bit of olive oil for some fat. It's got greens, perhaps. It's got some beautiful carbs, maybe if you want to throw in some noodles in there. This is one of the best things for the body, especially if somebody's ill. We give it to our loved ones when they're not well, or we want them to be better. Why wouldn't we give the same care and love to ourselves and give ourselves the same things? Diets have become a major part of our society and culture, with everyone participating in one way or another, almost as a rite of passage into adulthood. Our society continues to push everyone towards a model mold that stays in that size zero and barely eats. It can be it can be hard to learn how to love your body and continue to be confident no matter your size. As an answer to fad diets and a deep-seated diet culture, the anti-diet method teaches you to focus on health over aesthetics. Throughout the method, you learn how to build your body confidence through positive affirmations, squeeze out bad foods and replace them with good foods, and continue to preserve through slip-ups. It's okay to fail. It's okay to slip up. It's not even a failure. It's okay to have a bump in the road, or to not even have a bump in the road. It's okay to just have a piece of cake at the wedding and not see it as a failure and not feel guilty and be okay with it. Diets focus on rules that, once broken, leave dieters with a distinct sense of shame and failure. The anti-diet method allows you to take your time to adjust to a new way of eating and feeding your body. So the anti-diet method is a simple but flexible way to teach your body a new, healthier way of eating. The center focus is all about you and feeding your body in the most nutrition-filled way possible. You listen to your body and let it take the lead rather than eating your emotions. Nothing in a diet plan allows for an individual approach to eating and body confidence. But you're different from someone next to you, across the world, or even in your own family. If you want to get healthy, be more confident, and continue building your self-esteem, it's time to get away from the rules and work through the process. Nothing comes easy. It might be a few tears, especially when it comes to the emotional stuff. Failure is for a rule book in a diet plan. The anti-diet plan is all about learning through the process and trusting it to carry you to a new healthy lifestyle. Look no further if you need some supportive health coach who can help you ditch the diet. I'm here to help you and invite you to a free discovery session where we can look at your health goals and determine the next steps that are for you. So that essentially is a wrap, and I want to thank you. I've really kind of gone over my time, but I appreciate you hanging out with me to the end of this presentation. If you want some more information, I am the person that you need to connect with. This is my philosophy. This is the way I've talked all the way through this. You kind of get an idea of where I'm coming from. And if this resonates with you, let's take it to that next step. This is where my expertise in a few different areas actually can really bring about that approach to your health, to your, not only your physical health, but your mental health as well too. A lot of my clients that I work with for weight loss have no problem following a meal plan, have no problem getting up and exercising 2-3 times a day, have no problem, switching over from processed foods to whole foods. But sometimes they have that mental blockages where they still can't see themselves beyond the scale, and they can't see themselves beyond that size zero that they need to fit into. And this is where that mental approach that I offer comes in through rest. So rest is rapid reprogramming of rapid reprogramming of emotional stress technique. So this is what I actually incorporate into my programs as well, to help people get back past the blockages and um, beyond the affirmations and beyond, putting the 90 days of, yes, I am beautiful, and looking at yourself in the mirror and doing the work. Rapid reprogramming actually allows for that to skip over all of that basically and get to that reprogramming of the emotional stress that is holding you back from realizing why why can't you eat properly for a lifetime? Why do you binge? Why do you have these feelings of inadequacy? What is the underlying trauma that has happened that makes you head for a bag of chips every time you are a little bit triggered? These are all things that are incorporated into my program that I do, my wellness and weight loss program. And this is something that, beyond all the meal plans and the recipes for the whole foods and the coaching and the tips and the tricks and the strategies. This is what makes my program unique. And this is why I am providing it to you as an alternative, because there is, it's my kitty, there is has not many different alternatives out there. They're all basically the same these days. There's so many different variations of keto, there's so many different variations of paleo, there's so many different variations of Weight Watchers, there's so many different variations of everything that's out there. This is something different. This is an individualized approach because, again, you are unique. You are that individual that is different from every person in your household. This is a program that is ditches the diet and allows you to really improve and maintain your relationship with food for the rest of your life. So I invite you to connect with me. Let's sit down, let's chat over Zoom or in office and see what we can do. Let's get started. Talk soon.